Hey, I'm Jeff Sweener with Sweener Builders. Welcome to another episode of Sawdust. Today we are at Arnold Lumber Company in West Kingston, Rhode Island, which is our dealer for Andersen Windows. We're going to be taking delivery of Andersen A-Series windows, and we're going to walk you through an installation down at one of our projects in Green Hill. So stay tuned. I'm Jeff Sweener, President and CEO of Sweener Builders. For more than 30 years, we've been building coastal homes meant to last 100+ years. Our team of talented craftsmen and design professionals are committed to delivering extraordinary results through the best practices and techniques in custom home building. Our final product has to be beautiful, highly efficient, and use advanced building science to stand up to the harsh coastal conditions. On this season of Sawdust, we're pulling back the curtain to give you an inside look at what we do.
We're here today loading up Andersen A-Series window order for Sweener Builders. When we receive our window orders, our first step in the loading process is to make sure that the windows are secure. So we use our specialized pallets and use our corners and special ratchet strapping to make sure that there's very little contact with the actual product. And then from there, our loaders will pick them up with the forklifts, bring them out to the loading zone, place them on the truck. The driver will then strap down around and underneath the window pallet so there's no contact with the windows, so there's no potential damage. Our biggest concern when we're shipping windows, the safety of the product, the security of the product. The driver will do a quality check before everything leaves the yard to make sure that all the products are there, nothing is damaged. Then he'll deliver out to the job site. When we're shipping bigger window orders like this, we want to make sure that it gets there securely and safe. We ship them on a flatbed truck with forklift capabilities on it. So when the driver gets to the job site, he's able to unload everything right there with his forklift, drop it exactly where our customer wants them. So it's for easy unload off of our specialized pallets. Then the driver can just take the pallets right off the job site for the customer, bring them right back. We want to make sure we get there as efficiently but as securely as possible to make sure that our customers are getting the products that they ordered in the condition they ordered.
We're here today in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, right on the coast, installing Andersen A-Series windows.
Once we've removed the handles, we're going to clean the nail and flange. We folded all our hurricane clips inward so that they don't get caught in our rough opening once we install the window. We're also going to caulk around the corners on the interior of the flange. And then we're going to go outside and prep the exterior of our rough opening.
So you want a nice continuous bead along the whole length of the pieces of tape that they put on the corners of the flanges. It's just an extra level of security. One of the main factors that we are concerned about is water mitigation, and especially in the coastal environments, the wind-driven rain will find a way if there's a way for water to get in, so we take some redundant steps to make sure that there's no possible way water can get in. All right, so now that we have our corners siliconed, our hurricane clips are folded in, we verified that the window is locked, we are ready to start prepping the rough opening.
My name is Ted Venecianos. I'm one of the senior salesmen at Arnold Lumber Company. I've been in the industry for about 36 years now, and I've been here at Arnold's for 31 years. The nice thing about the Andersen A-Series is it's one of the best on the market for coastal application. The way the window is made is the sash itself, the exterior part of the sash is fiberglass with a wood insert on the interior, and the sill is made out of their Fiberex material. They take all the wood shavings and everything from the plant along with the plastic shavings, mix it together with glue, and that makes a beautiful substrate finished product for the window. The other nice thing about the Andersen A-Series is you can also get that window in impact glass, which is required in the state of Rhode Island in your 120-mile-an-hour wind zone.
So obviously the goal is to keep water from getting into the building and getting into the window at all. But as an extra level of security, we like to put a piece of clapboard on our sills before we flash it. And that gives us a little 5-degree pitch. So if water ever were to enter, it would be able to run down the pitch, out the flashing, and never enter the building or give us any issues.
Yeah, so we've already got the clapboard installed. We've verified that our rough opening is square, level, and plumb and the correct size. So Ryan's gonna start installing our bottom flashing here, the stretch tape, while I cut back the house wrap and tape it up out of the way. When you cut the house wrap back, you only want to cut as much as you need to get your top flashing to fit. So in this case, we're using Hydro Flash, which is 6 inches wide. So I just like to make a little 6-inch reference mark on either side. And when we cut our house wrap back, we like to cut up at a 45-degree angle from the top of the rough opening, just to up above that 6-inch reference mark that we made. We like to use a little piece of the Hydro Flash to tape the house wrap up and get it out of the way.
Now when installing the stretch tape, I like to make a mark in the center of the rough opening and start there, working the way out towards the edges. I just find that to be the most forgiving strategy to keep it nice and wrinkle-free. And make sure it's nice and tight in the corners so that you're not getting any bubbles or wrinkles. Once that half's done, you can peel back the other half. Stretch it down, and the stretch tape avoids any seams here that would come with the traditional flashing tape, making sure that there's just one less entry point for water. Now, very critical, we always like to make sure that we roll our flashing tape, every part of it, and that gives us that nice tight adhesion that we know is going to last. Once our stretch tape is installed and rolled, Max is going to apply a bead of silicone about 1/4 inch away from the edges of our rough opening on 3 sides, and that's going to catch the flange once we put the window in.
No caulk on the bottom.
Now, to counteract our pitch that we've created in the sill, we just start with the plastic shim turned backwards, and that gives us a level surface for the window jambs to sit on. And we want to place these about 1/4 inch away from the edge of the rough opening, and that gives us a solid place to bear on the jambs of the window.
So we've done all the prep work inside to get the window ready for installation. We've come outside, completely prepped our exterior, and we're just about ready to put the window in the hole.
Now that our window and our rough opening are prepared for install, we are ready to put this thing in.
Let's do it. Ready?
Yep. You got it. There we go.
Perfect.
Now, we always want to make sure until we're fastened that someone is keeping a hand on the window at all times. Readjust the shims if necessary, if they moved during turbulence. Now, we have a reference line that we've established around the house to make sure that the tops of our windows are all equal. And that lets me know that we're at a good height so that Max can begin by tacking that corner. And I can see right here that our sill is nice and level, and it looks like we're good. So once I center us in the rough opening, I'm gonna have Max tack the top corner and he can verify that the top of the window is level. All right, we're centered, and we're on our line, ready for attack. All right, let's see how we're looking for level.
Right on, perfect.
Beautiful. So we'll get attack in the other corner up top. Beautiful. Now we know our window is safely in the hole, and as another measure of redundancy, I like to shoot a plumb line with the laser on the inside, and eventually we'll use that to set our jam perfectly straight.
Yeah, so Ryan's inside, he's got a laser line set up, a plumb line for us to refer to on the inside to get the sides, the jambs of these windows nice and straight. With the double hungs, we find a lot of times from top to bottom, there's just a slight bow in the frame from the weight of the window itself. So it's nice to get a straight edge on there. And I'll communicate to Ryan to have him pry the frame and take a look at how plumb we're looking. So yeah, we gotta go in a little bit to check it.
You know, I'm gonna throw a couple of shims on the other side so I don't crank our bottom over too much. All right, now I'll give you a crank. By the looks of it, I'm seeing that our bottom will have to shift that way, but let's see what you got.
Yeah, this is showing the bottom wants to go that way or top that way, very slightly.
Right.
Perfect, beautiful.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. Hang on, can you hold it there?
Holding.
Get the side where we like it. Throw a couple nails in it so it holds. Then we can check the other side. Beautiful. A little bit more. Yeah, right there.
So now that the outside is nice and straight, we still have a little bit of play on the inside here, so that's when I like to shim right at the center where our sash meets. And I'll use my laser line as a reference to keep us nice and straight. Oopsies.
All right, I like to double check plumb, level, square before we nail it off. Top looks perfect. Check both sides. Perfect. Beautiful.
And Max is gonna finish nailing it all off now that we like how everything's looking. We're just about ready for our flashing tape, which we have pre-cut to size. Our headpiece we cut a foot wider than the window, which allows it to go all the way beyond the leg tape. And the legs extend up so that they're covered fully by the headpiece. Looking good, mate. 47/4.
All nailed off on the outside. Now we're ready to lay down a bead of silicone along the top of our window and install the drip cap.
You mean this drip cap?
That drip cap. Ryan and I found that when we install the drip cap, we like to just make a couple little pilot holes for my nails because the bead of silicone required on the top of the window likes to push the drip cap off the face of the house. We want it to be as tight as possible. So between a couple of nails holding it in and then the head flashing tape, that thing will be nice and tight.
So I'm just gonna take a roofing nail here and pilot out these holes for Max so that A, we know we're not gonna be nailing on top of a nail, and B, makes it easier for him to keep the drip cap sitting tight.
Great.
Your piloted cap, sir.
Beautiful. Yeah, so being this close to the water here in a coastal environment with brutal weather, it's super important to have everything nice and watertight and weatherproof. Now we're ready for the drip cap. So now that we've nailed the exterior off, we've got the drip cap on, it's time to hydro flash our sides and the top. We always put the sides on first. Top flashing comes across, covers your side flashing, creates a nice watertight seal, which is super important building close to the ocean like we do often. All right, last step, roll the tape on the top. We roll it to get the air bubbles out and to create a nice adhesion between the flashing and the RO. Okay, now that we're completely flashed around the exterior of the rough opening, or of the window itself, I should say, it's time to flap our house wrap back down that we had previously cut and taped up out of the way. And we're gonna re-stick the house wrap back where it belongs. Give that a nice roll. And the final step of the process is to cut a few pieces of your hydro flash and install them along the seam of the house wrap and the flashing around the window. That's going to seal everything up, give us a complete waterproof, watertight window.
Now the last step before the waterproofing is complete is we need to put another bead of sealant along where the flange meets the window. We choose to do this during the trim phase with a white sealant. That way we don't have to worry about the bead building up as we put the trim on. So once the casing is ready to go on, we'll put that nice bead on and put the casing on, and that'll squeeze right in there, and it'll be our nice caulk joint around the perimeter of the window while acting as the final sealant to make this completely watertight. So that about wraps up our window installation process. The last thing that needs to happen is put backer rod and non-expanding spray foam insulation around the perimeter of the window. We typically do that at a later date, but for now our window is complete. We've installed many different types of windows across the board, and Andersen's by far the most user-friendly. Just gives us the confidence that we know we have a good product on our hands and we can hand off the house to the customer knowing that they're going to have the top-notch quality windows in their house that will never give them any issues.
Well, thanks for watching another episode of Sawdust. I hope you enjoyed that presentation of Andersen window installation. So subscribe to our channel, drop us a comment, give us a like, and we will see you on a future episode of Sawdust where we show you how to deliver extraordinary.